This is Will. We just finished Lesson 5, which wrapped up the top 10 custody schedules. I'm so excited you are back with me today for this lesson. Why am I excited? This lesson will go into situations that most men do not think about when establishing custody, and that is regarding dating. You may be thinking to yourself, dating is the last thing on my mind at this point. And that is probably true. When us men go through a divorce, there are so many emotions that it is difficult to think clearly. That's why you have us. At some point, you will be very excited to date again, and the odds are great that you will find a much better partner than the first time around. What you need to remember is that once your divorce agreement is signed, you will not be able to modify it for dating purposes. Just because you want to switch things up because you have a girlfriend and her custody schedule for her kids doesn't match up with yours. Or you box yourself into a corner because your custody arrangement simply doesn't allow for a life outside of your children. The information provided in this video and in this channel is for informational purposes only and is not meant to take the place of professional, legal, accounting, or financial advice. If you have any legal questions about this video or the subjects discussed, or any other legal matter, you should consult with an attorney or tax professional in your area. Alright, let's talk about dating. So, how do these custody schedules impact you going out and dating women? Let's suppose that you and your ex-wife agreed to the custody schedule where you have your kids every first, third, and fifth weekend. In some parts of the country, this is a very common custody arrangement. Therefore, you would be available to make plans and go on dates on the weekends when you don't have your children, which would be the second and fourth weekends. What if all the women you would like to date have a custody schedule where her ex-husband also has their children on the first, third, and fifth weekends? This would mean that the mother would have her children on the second and fourth weekends, which would happen to be the very same weekends you don't have your children. If this is your situation, then you would not have any weekends open to date this woman. The only way you would be able to date is if one of you would have to get a sitter, or if your kids were old enough to stay home alone, then you would just be giving that time up with your kids. And, if you wanted to become intimate, then you could go over to each other's place. However, you wouldn't necessarily be able to spend the night. If you are thinking to yourself, what are the odds of the women I would like to date has the exact opposite custody arrangement as I've just outlined? That's a good question, and nobody would be able to answer that question. However, it happens all the time. You could, however, add a provision in your divorce agreement that allows you to switch to an every other weekend or some other custody schedule 2 times a year. Your ex-wife may choose to have the same provision. However, if your ex-wife opts to switch you off the first, third, and fifth weekend arrangement, she would be forcing you to give up 4 weekends a year. Therefore, you would want to have a stipulation stating you would get 12 additional days throughout the year at your discretion once a forfeited weekend has passed. How could other custody schedules impact your ability to date other women? Let's suppose you have a custody arrangement where you have your children for 1 week, then they go to their mother for a week. Well, in this scenario, you would have to date a woman who would be okay with not seeing you for an entire week at a time. You too would have to be okay not seeing her as well. This creates a dating life where it's very difficult to maintain any level of consistency. On the flip side, this arrangement may work better for you so you can focus on your kids for a solid week, then you get a break and be with your partner. The main thing to remember is to have it written into your divorce agreement to give you options. You don't want to give your ex-wife the upper hand by holding you hostage to a custody schedule that doesn't work for you. Then she wants to horse trade you for other things she wants if she were to allow for a change in schedule. Again, you may not think she would ever do that, and you may be right and everything may be completely amicable. However, that's today. One of the situations where men have the most regret is where they have an amicable divorce situation where they get along very well with their soon-to-be ex-wife, and none of the precautions in this channel are addressed. She ends up getting a boyfriend or married, and all of that changes, and it will. Just remember, and let me re-emphasize, every single piece of advice you are getting on this channel is based upon men just like you who wished they had this information. Each scenario in this channel was a real-life scenario that has caused a lot of men regret, emotional conflict, and a feeling of helplessness. We are here so you have an ironclad divorce agreement that is equitable and looks out for your best interests. If you haven't already hit subscribe and the alert icon, please do so you don't miss any of our videos. This is Will, signing out until next time.